Hello everyone, this is Richard Digance, welcoming you to a week of strength, courtesy of the yellowcafé.co.uk. What exactly is a week of strength? Well, obviously a play on words. It's just a weekly trip into mindfulness, brain chilling and calm that we all need after the horrendous 12 months we've all experienced. During Advent, I said that loneliness is something that could be shared. It seems strange, double Dutch, but in actual fact we proved, you and I, that loneliness could indeed be shared. If you're lonely, just share it with someone else. We did that all the way to Christmas. And now we're into the second week of a brand new year. A year that hopefully will be better than the last. So, just chill out with me. This second week of January, certain things happened. One of which was something that I personally have never been hugely interested in. I'm talking about ballet. I love the arts, I love all sorts of culture, but ballet has never really been my thing until now. Because in this week, back in 1888, the composer Tchaikovsky wrote The Sleeping Beauty. I want you to think of the forest that Tchaikovsky thought of. A clearing in the forest by a tranquil lake. And there you share his inspiration, the foundation of the Sleeping Beauty. Do you know, they wrote to him 4 times before he took the gig on of changing the story of the Sleeping Beauty into an operatic gem. When he finally read the libretto, he was on a train from Moscow to Kiev. And during that train journey came the skeleton, the bones of the Sleeping Beauty. And it's weird because last week we were talking about J.R.R. Tolkien, if you recall. And I mentioned The Hobbit being a great inspiration to me. Another scene set around beautiful trees and tranquility. Tolkien wrote The Hobbit on a train, commuting to work each day. Great parallel. Anyway, it was 1890, this very week, that Tchaikovsky's Sleeping Beauty was first performed. A fairy tale. A fairy tale that took those audiences away from the real world. It's what we now call mindfulness, but oh yes, they craved it as well back in 1890. So just think of that forest and that lakeside panoramic stretch of imagination. While you're thinking about that lake, let's move closer to home than Tchaikovsky's homeland. Let's go to Scotland. Maybe Loch Lomond. Because this week in 1759 saw the birth of Scotland's finest, Robert Burns. Now I happen to think that poetry is a major factor of mindfulness. Maybe you've never written a poem. You should, you know. It doesn't matter how good or bad. It's just a safety valve that switches on in your brain. And the words come out and chill you down. Try it if you've never done it. So there you are, two literary figures, Tchaikovsky and Robert Burns. Significant to this second week of January. The birth of Robert Burns and the launch of Tchaikovsky's Sleeping Beauty. There's another thing happened this week. Something that makes me feel very humble. For my 60th birthday, my friends clubbed together and took me to America. And one of the places I really, really wanted to see was a tiny, tiny motel in Memphis. So while my friends were going to Graceland and seeing the whole Elvis trip, I went further down this railroad track to a tiny motel, a drab motel called the Lorraine. The reason I went there was because it was where the amazing Martin Luther King stood on the balcony of his hotel room and was assassinated. But he was born this week, January the 15th, 1929. If there's anyone you can think about and go, what an amazing contribution that man made to the world, it has to be Martin Luther King. And as I talk now, I see that really weird, drab motel. It isn't where you would expect Martin Luther King to stand and orate. It was sort of a grey colour and a really insipid green railings, you know. It was nothing spectacular, and yet it's remained in my head forever. We move on from 1929 to 1938. The 14th of January, Snow White and her vertically challenged little chumps. They were premiered in the United States this week in 1938. It was no social distancing back in those days, oh no. No, only 6 people, no. Snow White and her 7 chums. They appeared this week in 1930. And do you know what? Isn't that just as magical as the Sleeping Beauty? And yet you'd never put the two together, would you? A ballet and a little cartoon. But they give out the same ambience, that same feeling of a forest. Maybe in Snow White's case, a nice little cabin with a blazing fire. All part of surviving through January. So there you are. I've taken you to various aspects of the arts, and somehow we've managed to join them together. It's all about mindfulness, imagination, being somewhere else and chilling out. So thank you, Sleeping Beauty, and thank you, Snow White. Speak to you next week.